is my pretty guest for today. She's
What?
Bojana Bogojević. Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can. Thank you, darling.
Yeah, you're looking gorgeous today.
Oh, thank you. You gave me a purpose to put a lipstick and use a makeup during Corona. Yeah.
Mm, perfect looking. So, Bojana, I want you to tell my audience like you are a very strong woman. You made your weaknesses into your strength. So, please, can you tell your story? Like we have starting with your story. How did you begin?
Well, it sounds like I need to explain my CV, but well, I'm a lawyer, as you already know, and after I finished my faculty, I passed my bar exam. After that, I finished my post-graduation studies of corporate governance. And in 2014, I met a professor from Columbia University. It is Professor Sachs, and he is the head of sustainable development advising in every general secretary in United Nations. So my sustainable development fight started in 2014, but we all know that sustainable development goals are, which one we have now, 17 development goals are established in 1st of January 2016, and we have them till 2030. So yeah, that's basically my first story. After that, I finished United Nations Climate Change Educator Global Academy, and I became a climate change teacher. And I don't know what to tell more, because ask me, please.
Yeah, so last conversation, I came to know that you were a refugee, like in your initial days.
Yes, I was a refugee. Yeah, you know that Yugoslavia, probably your listeners know that Yugoslavia was a big country, but unfortunately we have now, unfortunately or to happy to be happy to others, we have several countries. And I was originally born in Bosnia, so I'm originally from Bosnia. And when I was a very little kid, I was a refugee and I ran away from home. And I ran away to Belgrade, and I have only my mother because my father died when I was 1 year old, and we were together. And in that moment, I gave myself a promise that I will be humanitarian and I will share my knowledge to the people who are in need for some kind of help or education, because I know how it is when somebody, especially my mother, was seeking for help, for legal advising and for everything, and there was no information. Sometimes one information can change somebody's life. Yeah, for sure. So that was the main goal, to become a humanitarian. When you feel the pain, the struggle, and in that moment you find the devotion and you give self a promise. Yeah.
So how did this climate thing came to you? Like you have to be a climate change maker. So how
Well,
did it come?
as I told you, my future with and my fight for sustainable development started in 2016, and climate change is sustainable development goal number 14. So yeah, sustainable development, it is between sustainable development goals, among 17 goals. And I finished academy, and after that I started to talk about importance on climate change and to educate different people across the globe. I published my articles about climate change and do advocacy and webinars about importance of climate change, because in every single sustainable development goal there is a goal of climate change, because we can't talk about smart cities if we don't understand how climate change is influencing every city, and how cities are vulnerable in case of climate change. Basically, yeah, the climate change, we can't talk about climate change about sustainable development goal 14 as we don't talk about climate change, which is the sustainable development goal number 13.
Cool, great. And I want you to tell the public about carbon footprints? Like we go to a technical term, carbon footprints. Tell us about that.
Yes, the carbon footprint is something that we all are lefting behind us to the planet Earth. So the carbon footprint is something that we all can do in our everyday life to lower climate change damage. So if we want to contribute in our fight against climate change, we can do some things that are easily to handle by each other, but it won't hurt us. So you basically personally know that your house sometimes is shining like a disco club. You can turn out the lights in those rooms which you are not using. We can take our cotton bags to the shops. We can use a public transport. We can drive less, especially, but using public transport is now, for now, when we're fighting a COVID pandemic, it is better to walk, not to be in a public transportation. If you are in public transportation, please use a self-protection mask. And please, 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 put, after using masks and self-protective gloves, please put them in bags and not throwing away in a nature. After that, you can see with your municipality, with the government of your municipality, about donation of waste, where you can put your waste to diversificate waste from plastic waste to everyday waste. Also, there is no shame to eat the same meal on Monday and Tuesday, for example, 2 days in a row. There is no any kind of shame, because it is ugly, but I must tell you that 1/3 of completely ever produced food per 1 year never reaches our table. So we are creating too much waste even in our food. We are creating, basically, as a humans, we are creating too much waste. So we must handle it. Also, we can be very careful by using water. You know, when I brush my teeth, I caught myself that I'm done closing the water. So I will be brushing my teeth and leave water going on. So sometimes when we are blessed to live in a part of the country, part of the world where we have enough water, we don't take care and we don't think about people who are not blessed as we are. But we all can do those little things, especially at that moment, that if I want to be any kind of lucid, if I don't want to lose my common sense, I should bring world to me. So in that moment, I decide that to turn my disability into my advantage, and I started my blog about law and corporate governance, started my humanitarian work, and I bring my world to me. So I'm thankful to that panic attacks and to agoraphobia, because without panic attacks and agoraphobia, I wasn't be here. Basically, I will probably be using my day differently. I won't study, because I want to tell all your listeners that even if we are fighting for sustainable development goals, we also should fight for our personal sustainable development. You can, now when we are almost all locked down, we can still learn, because there are a lot of organizations and universities who are offering a great online courses where you can live, where you can learn, and you can update your knowledge. And that is something very important that you can do for yourself.
Yeah, nice. Your book.
Oh, I was co-author of 2 books. Yeah, it's not one, it's 2 actually. It was book about, first one, it's from a pen of a lawyer. It's published by Serbian Chamber of Law. And the second one is about EU law. Basically, I wrote a chapter about corporate governance in European Union, with special emphasis of corporate governance in Serbia. Yeah, it's professional. Those are professional books, and I think, yeah, corporate governance is the future, because you need to know how how company breathes, and especially now with COVID, with we are facing some difficulties. Every company, just company with every society, we must even change the governing of companies and governing of our own societies and governing of our everyday life. So probably we will need to update our way of handling companies, especially corporate social responsibilities. And yeah, that's it.
How, like, so surprised. How do you manage so many things? How do you manage these all?
Well, I told you I was blessed with agoraphobia. I had plenty of time.
But
Unfortunately,
still now, like, like now you are also a lawyer, author, climate teacher also. How do you manage so many things?
because I like it. I once read that every single person has to have two careers, two jobs. One that brings money, and the second one which is for your soul, which you like it. But basically, somehow I'm able to connect everything. As I told you, the sustainable development goals are connected with corporate governance, and environmental law is connected with law, basically. And so everything is, when you like something and when you enjoy something, it is easy to find the time, because people must learn we must manage our energy, not manage our time. Sometimes we are losing our time because sometimes we are losing our time because something is draining our energy. And when you don't have your energy, you don't have basically you will not have a time, especially when you don't like something.
Okay, oh, that's perfect. Like, I'm so inspired by you. Like, a lady, she's such a wonderful person. She's funny also. She's into 100 things also. I'm like totally inspired by her, and I'm sure my public would also be inspired. So, can you just tell my readers something they should do to improve upon their life?
Oh, you
Something they can
must
learn from
repeat.
you.
You must repeat.
I'm saying, okay, I want to ask you, like, can you drop a message for our audience so that they can use it to improve their lives?
Oh, okay, a message. It is basically a
Yeah.
quote from a book that I'm writing. It isn't professional book, but is something that is like my petrol, like my personal gasoline. Never underestimate power of your dreams, because I never stop following your dream, because someone somewhere is counting on you. Never stop dreaming. And of
Wow,
course, good
that's
attracts good.
perfect. Perfect. This is so damn perfect. And also, like in the end, like I'm about to wind up. So, can you tell us anything which you would like to tell, apart
Can
from the
I?
message which we just completed? Can you just tell anything which you would like to tell our public?
Hi Zagreb, hi neighbors. I just saw the statement below. Yeah, hello to Zagreb and hello to Croatia. I gave an interview to Between Magazine from Croatia. Yeah, my lovely neighbors. Well,
Well,
we must teach, and we must realize how our world is precious to us. Especially we know that we are capable to understand it now, because we are facing a COVID pandemic, and we are facing, we are locked down. We now know to cherish the things that are basically previous COVID we wasn't cherish at all, and to enjoy life, to keep learning, because learning, there are only two things that nobody can take away from you. It is knowledge and it's a pure soul. And please stay good, stay healthy, and protect yourself. And don't forget that the planet Earth is the onlyest home we will ever have.
yeah, perfect, perfect. So, guys, this is Bojana, and she's like a wonderful person. We came to know so much about her, and I'm really happy to have you here. So
Thank you
thank you
very
for
much.
joining us.
I'm very blessed because I've met you and I have this privilege to talk with you and to share anything
And
with your readers.
yeah, I'm totally blessed to have this wonderful knowledge of yours. We will see you next time. Have a good day, dear. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Love you.
Love you too.
Okay, guys, so this was Bojana Bogojević. She's a wonderful human being. You can see her soul. She's so beautiful from the inside and out. And like you saw her speech, the words she said, they are very informative. You should follow them. Like what she said about Corona and following, saving your environment, because every human being is responsible on this earth to be responsible, save the planet. It's not a one or a section of people work, it is of everyone. So I would request you all to be responsible, have a good life, and have a pleasant day ahead.